Welcome to Forest of Ash, Lesson 9, Kitchen Magic. The kitchen is the focal point of a lot of houses, mine too, coupled with the dining room. It is where magic can be created, and that can be any sort of magic. In my kitchen, I love to cook, so the magic happens when I am making dinner. It is also where I make candles, oil preparations, and make lotions and potions. I also use my kitchen to dry some herbs. I use the conservatory as well, and I make my herbal teas there too. To a kitchen witch, the kitchen is where it all happens. The kitchen, or at least the fireplace or range, would have been where our ancestors worked their folk magic too, making their potions and poultices, liniments, and healing salves. Food is important to most witches. It is the source of energy that makes our bodies work, for a start, but we are also aware of the healing properties of food and the significance that it would have had to our ancestors when they literally lived off the land. All the food that we eat is also provided in one way or another by Mother Earth, thus bringing another connection to us. Food also brings people together. We join with friends and family to celebrate various festivals and holidays, but what is at the centre of most of them? Food. You don't have to be a chef or even a brilliant cook to celebrate the divine connection with food. In fact, simpler is often better. Just by cooking and eating foods that are in season brings us closer to the cycle of the earth. I believe cooking is a sacred art, but I do know that there are a lot of people who don't have a lot of time for it. I personally love pottering about in the kitchen, rustling up creations, but not everyone does. So I don't want anyone to feel guilty. Just being aware of the sacredness of food is important. We all need to eat, so being aware of what food you are eating, where it came from, and what it connects us to is more than enough. Creating a sacred kitchen. So, you might see the kitchen as a wonderful creative space. You might loathe it completely and only ever use the microwave. But it is still a kitchen. It is still a space that you have to make food in. So, how about making it a magical space? In my ideal world, I would have a huge farmhouse kitchen with a large wooden kitchen table in the centre for everyone to sit around. The table bleached from being scrubbed over so many years, herbs hanging overhead drying, and a huge oven range to cook on. Yeah, right, I live in a terraced house in a city. Okay, so it's a nice 1920s terraced house with real fireplaces, but the kitchen is never going to fit a farmhouse table. You make the most of what you have. Let us imagine that stepping into your kitchen, whether you will only be in there for 6 minutes it takes for the microwave to ping, or whether you will be in there for a couple of hours baking your own cakes, that it makes you feel magical, that it makes you feel as though you have stepped into a place of power. Well, we can create that. It doesn't have to take lots of money or time. You don't have to take on board all the ideas given, but it will give you some suggestions. Make it yours. Go take a look at your kitchen. Yep, go on. I'll wait. What do you see? Do you love the decoration? Do you love the colour? Does it look like something from a country kitchen, or does it look like something from the local science lab? You need to think of your kitchen as yours. It ought to reflect you and your connection to the divine. Yes, I know we need it to be practical too, but you can make it yours. Put a pretty rug on the floor, one that can be chucked in the washing machine. Paint spirals, goddess symbols, flowers, leaves, whatever takes your fancy on the cupboard doors, or use stencils. Check out the stores at Samhain. They usually stock lots of interesting bits and pieces that can be used to decorate a witch's kitchen. Hang up pictures of nature on the walls. Go mad, go wild, go funky. My own kitchen has lots of witches on broomsticks hanging from the ceiling, witch balls too, lots of witch figures on shelves, and a besom hanging on the wall. Although you don't have to be quite that mad. Make like Snow White. Yep, I mean cleaning. Yes, I know it's boring, and I don't expect us all to spend hours every day making it clinical. But if the kitchen smells yucky because it's dirty, and if you can't actually see the work surfaces because of the clutter, you aren't going to feel calm and connected in there. But you can make the cleaning magical and spiritual. Sing as you clean, something pagan that brings the goddess into the kitchen as you sweep and mop. If you don't know any particular songs, just make something up. Singing will help the work get done faster too. I also think that being barefoot helps to connect when you're at home too, not just in the kitchen but all over the house. Wear a specific apron. I have one that has witchcraft symbols all over it. You could make your own. Keep it as your magical cleaning apron, the one that, when you put it on, turns you into super kitchen witch. And what about cleaning products? Now, there are some pretty good eco-friendly cleaning products on the market, but we haven't all got an endless budget to pay for them. So if you haven't, how about having a go at making your own? Make a compost bin. Use all your fruit and vegetable scraps and shredded paper to make your own compost. Recycle. I am lucky enough to have a recycling collection scheme. They collect paper, plastic and card once a fortnight. Juju your floor wash. Make a good strong cup of herbal tea, strain it and add the liquid to your floor wash. It not only makes it smell nice, but if you use herbs that have cleansing and purifying properties, you add magic to your wash too. You can even use herbal tea bags. Once you have done the actual physical cleaning, give the kitchen a smudge with some sage, lavender or rosemary, or even an incense stick will do. Waft the smoke into every corner, even into the cupboards. Once you have finished, stop and look around again. This is your place of being. It is a sacred place now, one that is ready to make magic in. Send out your energy into your kitchen. Own it. Make friends with gadgets and widgets. Okay, so I am not suggesting you give the cooker a name and hold regular conversations with it unless you want to. But there are usually a lot of electrical appliances in your kitchen and they all rely on energy to work. Being afraid of using those appliances can send out negative vibes and they might be unhappy to cooperate when we need them. Consider your appliances your allies. They are your household pixies. A kitchen altar. I think having an altar in your kitchen gives it a focal point. It doesn't have to be big. I have a small green man shelf, and on top of that, I have a tiny vase. It is actually a small candle holder that I put a fresh flower in regularly. And it has representations of the elements, a shell, a feather, a red crystal, and a pebble. The top of the shelf surface is no bigger than the palm of my hand. You could just have a goddess statue on a shelf, or even just a goddess picture hung on the wall. Your kitchen altar is where you honour deity as a kitchen goddess. You might like to actually choose a particular goddess to have as your kitchen deity, one that is connected to homes and hearth. Or you might just want to keep it in general. It is your kitchen, your choice. You might even prefer to have a kitchen fairy or a kitchen dragon instead. You could use candles, which are representations of the element of fire, which is very prominent in the kitchen, and they also represent the home and hearth. It could even just be a small tea light. You could light the candle when you begin the food preparation, use it as your honour to the deity, light it and ask them to bless the food you're about to prepare. Leave an offering on your kitchen altar for each meal you prepare, just remembering to leave something not too sticky and to remove it the following day. Have fun with your kitchen altar design. Use natural objects and decorate it for the season with an acorn, leaves or flowers. If you have the space, you could even go to town on it and decorate it with kitchen items, cutlery, small pots or pans from doll's house furniture. Whatever you end up creating for your altar, and however big or small it is, use it as a focal point in your kitchen. Just take a moment before you start to prepare a meal by standing in front of the altar and asking for a blessing. Cooking up some magic. You don your kitchen witch apron, your kitchen is all tidy, and your altar all pretty. Then what? Even the most domesticated goddess won't feel like cooking every single day. So just give yourself a few moments before you start to get yourself in the right frame of mind. Stand in front of your altar or your goddess picture, statue, and calm, center, and ground yourself. If you are making a meal for yourself or to share, you don't want to be doing it whilst sending out negative energies. Part of the cooking process allows you to add magic to the meal, whether it is in the form of herbs, ingredients, or just the positive energy that you use whilst you cook. Even if the only cooking you do is to open the packet and warm it up. Whilst you are preparing your meal, try and think and feel positive. Whilst you are stirring the pots, try and stir them deosil, clockwise, to bring good energies in. As you add ingredients, you really take notice of their colour, their shape, their energy, and the connection they have with the earth. You can tailor your ingredients for the meal you are making. If you are making a romantic meal for a loved one, you could add items that have love as one of their magical properties, such as cloves or basil, or make a pie from apples, charging the ingredients with your intent. If you are making a dish for the family, you could add cinnamon, as this brings the magical properties of a happy home, safety, and protection. You know the archetypes, like asparagus and oysters being aphrodisiacs, but there are many other foods that have magical properties such as black pepper, stimulating, carrots, healing, chocolate, comforting, coriander, stimulating, onion, strengthening and purifying, potato, good for rheumatism, spinach, mental and physical stimulant. The magic in your cupboards. When you reach for magical ingredients for spell working or incense making, where do you look for them? Some people will immediately click on the internet and search for ingredients there. Or if you are lucky enough to have an occult shop nearby, that will get a visit too. I look in my kitchen cupboards or my garden. Your spice and herb rack holds a huge wealth of magical ingredients. In fact, your kitchen cupboard does too. The kitchen witch in me drives my intuition, and I am a great believer in listening to it, especially when I am working magic. I don't want to use expensive, exotic ingredients that have to be shipped from the other side of the world. I am happier using things that I have grown myself or items that I already have to hand. Magical ingredients should not cost lots of money, in my humble opinion. Every single item of food, ingredient you use in the kitchen, along with all the herbs and spices, has magical energy. Open the cupboard. Let's start with the herbs, because I bet most people have the usual array of thyme, parsley, sage, and rosemary kicking about their herb racks. All these regular herbs that we use in our culinary dishes hold immense power. Just because they are an everyday herb doesn't mean they don't pack that magical punch. Your spice and herb rack can be a smorgasbord of incense ingredients. Cloves, cardamom, star anise, and cinnamon sticks all make brilliant loose incense components. Chuck in some thyme or rosemary stalks, pop on your charcoal, and you have created an amazing incense blend. It's in the bag. Have you ever purchased a box of herbal tea bags, tried one, thought it was revolting, and not used them again? Yep, me too. But don't throw them away. You can use the tea bags in a bucket of hot water for floor wash or surface wash. Or you could pop open the tea bags and tip the tea blend into a jar. You can use this for magical workings, magical powders to dress candles with, for poppet filling, or to burn as an incense. Out of date, not out of use. Take a look in the back of your cupboard, right there at the very back in the shadows. Did you find out-of-date bags of flour, rice, or lentils? Don't throw them away. All of the items like this, plus porridge, pasta, and even the bag of healthy quinoa you bought and never used, can be utilised for magical purposes. These ingredients will soak up liquid in one way or another. So it stands to reason that they can be used in magic for soaking up negative energy. I repurpose these ingredients to use in witches' bottles and for filling poppets. Don't throw away out-of-date spices or herbs either. Although the spices don't really go out of date, they do lose their flavour, but they can all be used in magical workings rather than culinary ones. Waste not. I have jars filled with nutshells. Whenever I eat a pecan, walnut, Brazil, or pistachio, in fact any of the nuts, I keep the shells. They carry the magical properties of the nut. It is a win-win situation. Firstly, I get to eat the nut. And secondly, the shell can be used for magic. Shells can be used whole or ground and added to incense blends, magic powders, or in medicine bags. Most nuts bring the magical energy of prosperity, so you want to hang on to those. I also reuse honey and pickle jars. And what about wrappers? Well, I have to admit, I seem to end up with quite a few chocolate wrappers. No idea why. Chocolate is full of prosperity, happiness, love, and positive magical energy. So the empty wrapper can be used to write petitions on or to wrap around a herbal working to bring the essence of chocolate to the spell. Keep 'em peeled. Whilst I don't actually rummage through the dustbins, I don't like waste. And I do like to keep culinary leftovers for magical use, such as fruit peelings. Orange and apple peels, particularly, can easily be dried, laid out on kitchen paper in a warm, dry place, or popped into a very low oven for a few hours. It can then be added to incense blends or any magical workings. The same goes for apple and orange pips or any fruit kernels such as cherry or apricot. Leave them out to dry and then use them whole or ground for spell work. The peel and pips hold the magical properties of the fruit. Apples are excellent to use in love, abundance, or healing spell work, and oranges are full of happiness, love, clarity, and energy. And the scent is incredibly uplifting. Cherry stones carry the magic of fertility, love, and new beginnings. And apricot brings peace, passion, and romance. So don't throw the pits away. Cooking with the Wheel of the Year. I think working with the seasons in your kitchen is very important. For a start, fruit and vegetables taste better when they are in season, as they have been allowed to grow naturally at the proper time of year and they haven't been forced. Organic vegetables are obviously best if you can, because again, they taste better and they are seasonal, but I do appreciate that we can't always afford them. We have an organic vegetable box scheme where I live, and although the price is comparable to the organic vegetables in the supermarket, they are still more expensive than non-organic ones. I try to buy locally when I can too. It's not so easy in the city, but we do have a look in our locality for farm shops or farmers markets. Not only do you get better tasting produce when you eat seasonally, but I think it helps connect you with the turning of the wheel too. Fresh sweet strawberries in the summer months make you think and feel of warm summer days. Pumpkins and squashes make you think of fallen leaves and dark evenings. It all helps to keep you in touch, to keep that connection to the earth and her cycles. It will also help you to keep track of and understand more fully the Sabbats. You don't have to prepare a grand feast for each one, but have a think at least about what foods your ancestors would have eaten when they celebrated. And of course, there are breads and cakes that you could make specifically for Sabbats and Esbats. Crescent-shaped cookies are fantastic for moon celebrations. If you harvest a lot of herbs that you don't use all at once, if you dry them for magical uses, you can also freeze them. Make herbal tea blends, make herbal jellies, vinegars, and oils with them too. Witchy workings in the kitchen. You can work some spells in the kitchen using the items you have there and the produce you use. Here are some ideas. To release pent-up emotions, this one has got to be so simple. Chop onions. Let the emotions flow as your tears flow from the onions. Release anger. Chop, 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 like you have never chopped before, but please be careful of your fingers. Releasing old habits. Peel those root vegetables. As you take off the old skin, release your old habits. As you see the flesh, fresh, clean surface underneath, visualize a refreshed you. To boost your energy, shake it, baby. Make a salad dressing in a jar and shake it. Dance around the kitchen with it. To bring peace and calm, make something that requires looking after and stirring, such as risotto. Feel yourself becoming calmer and more peaceful with each turn of the spoon. To ground. Well, this one should be obvious. Grab yourself a potato or a parsnip, something that has grown in the soil. Hold on to it, connect with its earth energies. Bringing things together to gain balance. Try blending or whisking, mixing up batter, something that involves bringing different ingredients together to make a whole. Magical food for intent. Foods can be used for their specific intent. We have all heard about the aphrodisiac power of oysters and the healing powers of homemade chicken soup. But you can add your own intent to any of your cooking. Use the lists below to give you an idea of what foods work for which intent, or go with your own intuition. Charge each item as you add it to the pot. Visualize your desired outcome. You could also draw magical symbols in the air above the food to add even more power to it, or even carve symbols into the food itself, such as a love heart into the side of an apple. Magical food. Fertility. If you want to hear the patter of tiny feet, then add some magical fertility foods to your diet. Obviously, there are other things that you need to do to make babies happen, but that's down to you. Don't think that you can only eat these items if you want to get pregnant. It doesn't work like that. You need to always eat a balanced diet. It is all down to the intent, visualization, and charging the ingredients. Foods for fertility. Eggs, figs, grains, grapes, milk, nuts, pomegranate, poppy seeds, rice, sesame seeds, watercress. Magical food. Grounding. Feel a little bit spacey, floating high as a kite. This can happen after working with energy, spell work, or in ritual, or just because. This is why we eat cake in our rituals. Well, one of the reasons anyway. Because eating can help you to ground your energy. Foods for grounding. Beans, carrots, cheese, chocolate, eggs, grains, meat, peanuts, potatoes, salt, sweet potato, and tofu. And of course, I have to mention cake. Magical food, happiness, and peace. We lead such busy lives now that sometimes finding that sense of peace and balance and happiness is a bit of a trial. The foods in this section have the magical properties of allowing us to unwind, to chill out and just relax. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Foods for happiness and peace. Apples, apricot, chocolate, cucumber, cumin, fish, honey, lentils, lettuce, marigold, marjoram, milk, olives, oregano, passion fruit, peach, pizza, raspberries, rose, saffron, wine. Magical food, healing and health. We all know that a healthy, balanced diet is the one to go for to maintain good health. I don't advocate crash diets. In fact, I don't believe in diets as such at all. If you want to lose weight, then change your habits. Look at what you eat and the way you eat. Don't cut out a whole food group from your diet. All things in moderation. We all like to have a treat now and then, and I am pretty sure we all deserve a cake once in a while. Not a whole family size cake in one sitting, obviously. But we need the balance of protein, carbs, fats, good ones, vitamins and minerals to keep our bodies healthy and functioning properly. Eat up your vegetables, grains and fruits, but keep to a minimum processed food, salt and sugar. I am not a trained nutritionist, Just use your common sense. If the diet reads lose a stone in 2 weeks, then you will probably be living on cabbage water for the whole 2 weeks and will make yourself feel fairly ill. There are no magic wands to wave to cure all ills. I do advocate seeking holistic and spiritual treatments, but don't radically change your diet and never stop taking any kind of medication without the say-so of your doctor. Foods for healing and health. Almond, apples, Brussels sprouts, chicken, cider, cucumber, garlic, honey, lemon, olives, melon, mint, peach, pineapple, pumpkin, sage, tomato, walnuts. Magical food. Love. Love doesn't just cover the romantic kind, it also includes friendship and families. Just getting a group of friends or family together for a feast or just a pizza in front of the TV brings love into your home and your life. But you can add a little bit of magic if you tailor your food choices with the right intent. Foods for love. Anise, apple, apricot, avocado, banana, basil, beetroot, Brazil nut, cardamom, chocolate, obviously, cinnamon, cherry, chestnut, clove, coriander, fennel, fish, ginger, guava, honey, lemon, lime, mango, marjoram, milk, nectarine, orange, papaya, passion fruit, peach, peas, pineapple, pine nut, pistachio, poppy seeds, quince, raspberry, rhubarb, rose, rosemary, strawberry, sugar, sweet potato, thyme, tomato, vanilla, and wine. Magical food. Luck. Need a bit of luck to come your way? You can add to your chances of winning the lottery. Okay, maybe not that lucky, but changing the tide of luck to your favour can be enhanced by eating foods that have lucky magical properties. Foods for luck. Bananas, beans, cabbage, coconut, coleslaw, green vegetables and fruit, hazelnuts, nutmeg, pancakes, rice, sauerkraut. Magical food, magical powers. Now, these foods aren't going to make you fly on a broomstick or make sparks come out of your fingers, but they are high in magical properties and can give you that extra magical oomph. Foods for magical powers. Chocolate, citrus fruits, coffee, dates, figs, honey, leeks, meat, pineapple, proteins, rum, salt, spicy food, tea, tofu. Magical food prosperity. I am guessing that we could all do with a little bit of extra cash every now and then, usually more now than then. A lot of it involves visualization and convincing yourself and the universe that you deserve it. Negative thoughts won't bring the money in. Know that you are worthy. When you eat foods that correspond to money and prosperity, as with all the intents, visualization is the key. As you eat, see yourself comfortable and secure. I think it also helps to pay it forward and give something back. Foods for prosperity. Almond, aubergine, eggplant, basil, banana, beans, blackberries, cabbage, cinnamon, clove, dill, figs, ginger, grains, grapes, lettuce, maple syrup, milk, nuts, parsley, pears, peas, pineapple, pomegranate, pumpkin, rice, salt, seeds, spinach, tea, tomato. Magical food protection. However careful we are, we can always use a little bit of extra protection, whether it is personal to us and our bodies and emotions, or whether it is bringing in protection to our homes and families. If we eat food on a regular basis that have protected power energies, it can't do anything but help add to our personal armour, even if all you do is breathe over them after you have eaten a big chunk of garlic bread. Foods for protection. Almonds, artichoke, basil, bay, black pepper, blueberries, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, cayenne, chilies, chives, clove, corn, cranberries, curries, eggs, fennel, garlic, horseradish, leeks, mango, marigold, meat, mustard, olive oil, onions, oranges, paprika, parsley, peppers, pineapple, plum, potato, quince, radish, raspberries, rice, rhubarb, rosemary, rum, sesame seeds, soy sauce, spicy foods, sunflower seeds, tofu, tomatoes, vinegar, walnut, watercress. Magical food purification. Do you ever get that feeling that something is not right, that things are just a little bit out of whack? It is at that point that I smudge my house and renew my witch's bottles, but it can also help to give our bodies a bit of purification too. Get rid of the negative energy and replace it with new, fresh, and positive vibes in the form of lovely food. Foods for purification: bay, beer, not too many, black pepper, coconut, edible flowers, fruit juices, grapefruit, honey, horseradish, lemon, limes, melon, mint, onions, oranges, salt, shellfish, soup, steamed vegetables, thyme, turmeric, vinegar, water, yeast recipes. Magical food, sex. Bring on the oysters and the strawberries dipped in chocolate. It's voom time. Food has always, as far as I can tell, been used to seduce and add that extra sparkle to our love lives. Use these foods to create a sexy and romantic meal for you and your loved one. Blackberries, brandy, caraway seeds, cardamom, carrots, caviar, celery, champagne, chocolate, chowder, coffee, cognac, coriander, eggs, figs, fish, honey, licorice, mangoes, mint, nuts, olives, parsley, parsnip, rice, rum, seeds, shellfish, sweet potato, truffles, fungo variety, and chocolate ones. Vanilla, don't overdo the alcohol though. Magical food, spirituality, and psychic skills. I am not talking about religion here, but finding your inner peace and your connection to the divine, whatever divinity it may be, finding your place and your faith. The foods in this list may help you to find that connection or to strengthen your psychic abilities and divination skills, but more importantly, hopefully, they will help you find your inner sense of peace and spiritual connection. Food items are aubergine, eggplant, banana, bay, butter, the real stuff, not margarine, celery, cinnamon, coconut, corn, courgette, zucchini, dandelion, dates, eggs, fish, fruit juice, honey, lemongrass, mace, milk, mint, mushrooms, nutmeg, olives and olive oil, rose, saffron, shellfish, squash, thyme, tofu, vegetable soup, wine and yogurt. Cooking with the moon phases. The power of the moon is incredibly strong and affects our moods and emotions. And most of us will be used to working with the cycles of the moon rather than against them, going with the flow, so to speak, can make our lives so much easier. We can also tailor the foods we eat to the phases of the moon to tap into that power and to work with the rhythm of our bodies and emotions too. For the waxing moon, work with foods and menus that feed your soul, increase your strength, and revitalize your spirit. Bright, cheerful, spicy, exciting foods. Bring magic into your cooking for abundance, healing, love, creativity, manifesting, and setting goals and dreams into motion. Try using recipes on the waxing moon that include meat, fish, or chicken, beans, grain, and pasta, lots of vegetables, and natural yogurts. Fill your recipes with lots of herbs and spices, the good ones that boost your immune system. For afters, go for dairy-filled desserts or warming crumbles and fruit pies. This is an excellent time to try out new recipes and use ingredients that you haven't cooked with before. Be daring. Waxing moon. Broccoli, carrots, corn, garlic, onion, sweet potato, peppers, colourful vegetables, meat, chicken, fish, grains, beans, dairy, fruits, basil, fennel, thyme, ginger, turmeric and honey. Full moon. On the full moon, it is a time to bring on the feast. Rich, delicious and extravagant foods that celebrate the goddess in her mother aspect. Big, rich foods full of flavour and all the good stuff that isn't healthy in honour of the goddess at this time. For the full moon, Pull out all the stops and make big hearty dishes of fish, eggs, pasta and rice. Make sure you throw in lots of warming spices, baked potato dishes, and cook with cabbage and cauliflower, adding herb-filled sauces and lots of chilies. To treat yourself afterwards, go for sumptuous, decadent desserts filled with fruits, nuts, and of course, cakes and chocolate. For the full moon, fish, eggs, pasta, seafood, all vegetables, but particularly potato, cauliflower, and cabbage, basil, tomatoes, mint, meat, thyme, oregano, tarragon, black pepper, chili, garlic, cinnamon, fruits, nuts, cheese, cake, and chocolate. Waning moon. On the waning moon, it is time to eat up all those leftovers. Work with what you have in the fridge or the cupboards. Try and choose lighter foods, perhaps even ones that cleanse your system. Keep it light, keep it fresh. For the waning moon, keep it simple, fresh and cleansing. Work with citrus fruits, fresh vegetables and herbs, fish, rice and beans. Soups are excellent to make on this phase of the moon and throw in plenty of garlic. Herbal teas are also brilliant for the waning moon. For dessert, go for fresh fruit and yogurt. For the waning moon, all vegetables, pasta, salads, parsley, coriander, rosemary, soft fruit, rice, beans, fish, citrus fruit, fried fruit, dried fruit, greens, sage, lemon, and mint. New moon. On the new moon, we welcome the dark goddess. This is a powerful phase of the moon and a time for inner work. It is suggested that this time is one of fasting. My love of food argues heavily against this route, but I would recommend just keeping things light and healthy and make sure you drink plenty of fluids. Obviously, the moon phases span the seasons, so we will eat differently on a spring full moon to that of a winter one. Spring moons, this is a season of new beginnings, growth, and awakening, so eat foods that inspire you to connect with the energies of spring. Summer moons, summer is a time of sitting outside and eating, whether it is dinner in your back garden or a picnic on the beach. It is a time for celebrating life and all that we have. Autumn moons, harvest time, we start to think about warming, hearty foods and giving thanks to the land for all she has supplied us with. Winter moons, it's cold and dark and probably wet. So eating with the moon phases in winter will involve foods that warm us, keep us strong and maintain our bodies through the winter season. The moon for each month also has its own magical properties and energies. Go with your intuition and how you feel and how the energies around you make you feel and cook accordingly. When inspiration escapes. Even though I love to cook, some days I just don't feel inspired. It is these days that I sometimes cave in and order a takeaway, and that is okay. We all need a day off now and then, and a treat. On other days, when inspiration has departed and I don't have the funds for a takeaway, I get out my cookbooks and look for inspiration or watch the Food Channel. If you have any time to go out and have a wander around your local farm shop or farmer's market, be inspired by the produce itself. You might also find that what you feel like cooking will change depending on where your body is in its cycle, where the moon is in her phase, and how you are feeling. Keep an eye on it and see if you can note any patterns. It's not all about food. What? I hear you cry? Surely it's all about food. No. Your witchy kitchen is also a good place to make lotions and potions. We already have a lesson on oils, so I won't go into those. But you can make lots of lovely body lotions in your kitchen too, along with bath salts, balms, and incense. You could also make your own perfume blends, herbal sachets, pressed flowers, smudge sticks, and medicine bags. Homework. 1. What deities do you think represent the kitchen and the home, and why? 2. How do you feel about your kitchen? How do you use it? Is there anything you could do to make it more of a sacred space? 3. What herbs would you use in a floor wash for your kitchen and why? 4. Do you have an altar in your kitchen or would you like one? We would love to see a picture if you do, or a description. If not, what would you put in your kitchen on your kitchen altar and why? 5. For this lesson, we would like you to work through the Magical Foods branch class. Email and request the first lesson. Homework for each lesson should be emailed to your mentor, Ness or Heather, at the usual email address. Then follows links for further study.